Well, U.S. President Joe Biden and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping are in San Francisco as they get ready to hold highly anticipated talks on the sidelines of the APEC summit. This will be their first face-to-face meeting since talks in Bali last year. The two leaders will be meeting at an undisclosed location before they attend the APEC summit. The meeting is raising hopes of stabilizing bilateral relations between the world's two largest economies after rising tensions over issues ranging from trade, human rights, as well as the pandemic. For more, CNA's Lo Min joins us live from Shanghai. Min, remind us about the key discussion areas for the two presidents and, more importantly, the prospects of any concrete deliverables.
So China-US relations have been plagued by many intractable issues that are unlikely to be resolved in one APEC meeting. And these are things like the Taiwan issue, the Ukraine conflict, the Israel-Hamas conflict, as well as the trade and tech restrictions that the US has imposed on China. But there are other second-order issues where we could see some forward momentum. And one of the most highly anticipated potential breakthroughs we could see is the restarting of military-to-military dialogue that the U.S. has been asking for. This was cancelled after then U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan, and later efforts to restart dialogue had been hampered by U.S. sanctions on the then Chinese Defense Minister Li Shangwu. The fact that China had removed that minister from power has provided an opening for both sides to restart dialogue. But political watchers are saying that if this is the definition of success, it is a very low bar. And we heard President Biden earlier saying that the goal of this talk is really to restore communications to normal levels for both sides to be able to pick up the phones during crisis times. We're also hearing from the South China Morning Post that both countries are poised to agree to limit the use of artificial intelligence in certain weapon systems, including drones and nuclear weapons. China is also likely to agree to do more to limit the export of precursor chemicals being used in the making of fentanyl, which is fueling an addiction crisis in the U.S. And if this comes through, it will be a major political win for President Biden. We're also hearing that both sides have already agreed to cooperate on the climate change front just ahead of this Xi Biden meeting.
We also understand that the Israel-Hamas conflict will be on the table. Where do the two sides stand on that, and what are they likely to cover on that front?
Yeah, so the Israel-Hamas conflict, there's no doubt that it is casting a shadow over this APEC meeting. President Biden is likely to push President Xi to use China's leverage over Iran, which backs Hamas, to de-escalate the conflict. But political analysts are telling me that China is likely to be uncomfortable projecting power in an area where it doesn't necessarily have direct interests. And analysts are saying that while China has a playbook for how to deal with territorial disputes in its neighborhood, like in the South China Sea, it is less likely to want to be diplomatically entangled in such a complex and deeply rooted issue as the Israel-Hamas conflict. So again, like Ukraine, like Taiwan, these are all issues that some analysts are saying are non-starters, but they are going to be raised regardless at the meeting, because ultimately the goal of this talk is for both sides to feel each other out, to get reassurances from one another, to get clear about each other's strategic intentions, and to put some guardrails on their relationship.
Yeah, well, no doubt we'll be circling back to you post-meeting. Thanks very much, Lo Min reporting live there from Shanghai.